We are learning new information surrounding what some consider to be one of the CIA's worst failures in recent history.
The Foreign Policy magazine article entitled "Botched CIA Communication System Helped Blow Cover of Chinese Agents" takes a look at how Chinese authorities were able to infiltrate the CIA's network of secret informants.
It also reveals the shocking number of spies who were killed while working in the communist country. Now, investigative journalist Zach Dorfman wrote that article, and he is a senior fellow at the Carnegie Council and joins us now from San Francisco with more on these revelations. And, you know, we use the word assets, but we're talking about human beings with lives working on behalf of the American government in China. So, Zach, before we get into your reporting, I want you to just sort of take us back to the beginning. 2010, what happened?
Well, first, thanks so much for having me. And yes, starting in 2010 and 2011, 2012, the CIA began to notice that many of its human assets, as you mentioned, human beings with families and friends and networks, started to disappear. And eventually, their entire network, or one of their entire networks of sources and assets in China, was completely blown up by the Chinese intelligence services. Prior reporting stated that the total number of assets killed was over a dozen, according to multiple former U.S. intelligence community officials that I spoke with. That number was closer to 30, if not higher.
So explain to our viewers how the Chinese were able to break up the network, how they were able to figure out that there were spies in their midst.
Well, there's 2 points, and they're not mutually exclusive. The first was that in conversations with some of these former officials, a word that kept coming up was hubris. And that is that at the time, in 2010, 2011, the CIA was operating in a country with extraordinarily sophisticated surveillance apparatus on the internet. And the covert communication system that they were using to communicate with these human sources was internet-based. So that's the first thing, was this notion that the CIA believed that its system was secure and that the Chinese intelligence services would not be able to break it. That was incorrect. The second point that I was told, and this is the really key one, is that when CIA officers begin communicating with new assets, they use what's known as the transitional covert communication system. And that's set up in order to establish this communication and to ensure over time that the person that the CIA officer is communicating with is in fact not a dangle of the Chinese intelligence services. What occurred was the transitional system was architecturally connected back to the main system where CIA officers speak to vetted sources. So what I was told was that the Chinese intelligence services were able to get their hands on the transitional system, and because of this flaw in the architecture, they were able to break into the main system from that. And from there, they were able to map out the entire CIA network in China.
But this seems so basic that when you have sort of a network, you try to make sure that it's completely sort of enclosed and not connected to other networks, or else precisely what you're describing can happen. I presume that this system of acquiring assets, cultivating them, they've done this other places in other countries. Is this a new loophole, or